Thanks to Sia's spear, the beast had slowed down just enough for Quinn to move out of the way, avoiding the vine whip. A second spear was thrown and had landed in the same spot on the beast's legs. The effective 2 spears had stacked, and now the beast was 20% slower than it usually would have been, and also 20% weaker. The students took advantage of this temporary weakness. Their attacks, which were bouncing off the beast, are now damaging it, and the vines that were troubling slowed down. With Vorden and Sia using their spirit spears, the beast had now lost 40% of its overall strength. It was nearly half of what it used to be. Quinn no longer felt the need for him or Fex to get involved when fighting the beast. The beast now looked heavily injured. It lifted its front 2 feet into the air and slammed them onto the ground. The beast repeatedly did this action as it roared and screamed. At the same time, the vines that were coming off from the bud on its back swung more widely. The beast used its long head and looked back into the forest. The next moment, it started running back from where it came from. "Nobody should chase the beast," Dell shouted. "Some advanced-type beasts and above have something called a berserker mode. Once injured to a certain point, if the beast feels like it's stuck in a corner, it will activate its berserker mode, sometimes increasing its strength several times." But then, a female with light pink hair stepped in front of Quinn and bowed down to him. As she lifted her head, her eyes were filled with tears. "Thank you so much for saving my friend," the pink-haired girl said. After that, she hurried off to join her teammates. The thanks should have made Quinn feel good, but it didn't. Originally, he had only gone out there not to save the students, but because he saw it as an opportunity to take their blood. He didn't deserve the praise. When the students had all settled down, they decided to have a minute of silence, out of respect for the students that had been lost. But they couldn't spend much time because they were in a serious situation right now. Leo had arrived at the camp where the distress signal had come from. There were no students around. Leo started to hunt around for clues when the sounds of large, heavy footsteps could be heard heading in his direction. A large flame of red energy seemed to be spiraling in his direction. This was what happened when a beast was just about to go into berserker mode. "If it gets to that point, it might be a little bit inconvenient," Leo moaned as he drew out his trusty sword. Immediately 6 lines of red energy came whipping out at Leo. Focusing his mind, he waited until all paths of the red energy crossed each other. In that moment, he took a single swing of his blade. The 6 vines that had come out at him had all been sliced off. The line of energy was thin and white, but the beast had no time to react, and it had completely passed through its neck. "I guess you can't regenerate your head," said Leo. After defeating the beast, he didn't stop for a moment, not even to extract the crystal core from its body. Right now, the students were a priority, and if they had run into similar beasts to the one he had just faced, he feared the worst for the students. They started to travel up the left side of the mountain. Dell had made the decision and was ordering the group around, but he wasn't the one that stood in front of the group. Instead, some of the stronger groups had their frontliner. The scanners had been turned on. They would still record points and work as long as they were within a 200-meter radius of Dell. The group decided to stay closer, and no one was venturing far away from their team or far from the whole group. The students started to walk around to see if there were any other options to scale the mountain, or if they could see the shelter from the edges of the mountain. Dell was currently just standing in the middle, looking up at the mountain to his right and down the sloped path from where they had come from. In the middle of their exploration, though, 3 clear and distinctive dings were suddenly heard. The students all turned to where the sound came from, as it indicated that a beast had been discovered by the scanner. But looking at the student whose scanner went off, it looked like there was nothing, even around him. "What did you discover?" Dell said as he walked over to the student. The student pointed at a purple blade of grass on the floor. But to his surprise, the scanner said he wasn't holding a plant, but a beast. When Dell snatched the scanner from the student, a dark expression appeared on his face. "An intermediate beast, this little thing? How can that be possible?" The students were not actively looking at the grass around them, but now they noticed that there were a few single strands of purple grass every so often from the grasses surrounding them. "Is it going to rain?" Layla asked, but Quinn was interested in the beast. He bent down and looked closer at the blade of grass. "Inspect. Intermediate beast. Dumping bait beast. The top of the beast's head can often seem like a blade of grass. while most of its body remained underground. The beast cannot move, but when the rain comes it will sprout from underneath. As a single raindrop fell on the purple shade of grass, it suddenly shook, and the ground started to vibrate as well. "Guys, get away from the purple grass!" Quinn shouted to his teammates. "Let's head back down the slope." As Quinn said these words, a 2-meter-tall purple plant appeared behind him. Its body was as thick as a tree, and its head was as wide as a car. On top of its head was the strand of grass that could barely be seen on top of the giant plant-like beast. "Quinn!" Layla shouted as a plant dived down. But it was too late. The large plant had swallowed Quinn. Chaos erupted on the side slope of the mountain. However, the beasts were too fast. As if it was a snake, the plants opened their mouths wide and sometimes consumed more than one student at a time, and one of these students was Quinn. "No, he's not dead," Peter replied. "I can tell." "I'll go get him," Fex said. There was no panic on Fex's face, just a slight smile. "Eat me then, you piece of—" Then he was gone, swallowed by the beast plant. The others stayed there watching the plant for a few seconds, hoping that Fex had some sort of plan. But after watching for a while and seeing no result, the situation couldn't be more obvious. "Run!" Vorden shouted. "That's all we can do. If Peter says Quinn is safe, then we just have to believe him." The whole group had now been swallowed by different beet plants. Fex and Quinn, Layla and Vorden, and finally Peter and Sia. A few of the other students had been swallowed. A few were also knocked off the side of the cliff. The moment the rain stopped, all the beasts went into hibernation. They returned underground and turned into beautiful stalks of purple grasses once more. Amazingly, soil started to form over the purple grasses, and in the blink of an eye, the mountain returned to its original state. It was as if nothing had happened. "Is it over?" a student asked, huffing and panting. He felt as if he would collapse from exhaustion at any moment. "What should we do now, and what about the others?" another asked. Dell looked around, and he could see there wasn't much blood. Also, during his studies, he discovered that plant-type beasts weren't mostly carnivores. The fact that these plants probably didn't have the acid necessary to digest meat meant that the students were still probably alive. "I hate to say this, but they're probably already dead," Dell lied. "It's best if we head back down to where we were. If we carry on going upward, then there might be even more dangerous beasts." Before heading back down the slope, a student spotted another person walking up. As they saw who it was, a huge smile appeared on their faces. "Sergeant Leo!" the student shouted. There wasn't much that needed to be said, as Leo agreed that he would take them back to the shelter for now. Just as the students were about to head down the slope, Leo started to walk over to a strange object. A certain item was giving off energy, similar to that of a beast weapon. "Do you mind telling me what it looks like?" Leo asked Dell, who wouldn't leave his side. "It appears to be some type of metal flask, although it has some strange design on it. It looks like a beast's head with fangs. Maybe it's one of the items that the students dropped during the struggle," Dell answered.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.